Let's finally have the conversation. FL Studio versus Logic Pro. And I want to finally speak about, my experience between both of these softwares, because I feel like I've never come out to actually speak on both my experiences about both of these softwares. So buckle up, it's gonna be, I'm just gonna lay out my thoughts like as best as I can. I'm just gonna be honest about both of these softwares because I've used both, and right now I've been using Logic and I've been loving it. My previous album I've made using Logic and it was amazing. I've also released bodies of work and projects just using FL Studio alone. Why I basically moved from FL Studio, that might be the first question you have, right? Why did I move from FL Studio to Logic? Well, I wanted to try out something new because I've been using FL Studio for like a super long time, and I wanted something different. I wanted a different workflow. I wanted to look at something different when I make music so that maybe I can have a different vibe going on, because FL Studio is super awesome. FL Studio is dope. It has everything you need. It's what a lot of producers that are beginning music production are using. It has everything you need, like all the plugins and all of that, and everything. But it also has its problems as well, which I'll get into a little bit later. But I hopped into Logic, right? Ever since we got an Apple machine in the house, so I wanted to try out Logic. But first what I did was I tried out GarageBand. That's what most people use first when they get an Apple computer. You usually install GarageBand. If you know GarageBand, let me know down below. So you install GarageBand and then you use that, and then you upgrade from GarageBand to Logic Pro, because they're basically the same. I feel like GarageBand is like a little brother to Logic Pro. Logic Pro is now the professional, where you get everything you need. You get full pro, like professional stuff in there, and it's really dope. So that's what I was trying to do, because I believe as a producer you need to at least use maybe one or two softwares that you feel like you have a grip on. Like, let me know down below which are your two software that you use. If you only use one, that's still fine. But what I say is, as a musician, you need to play with different tools, right? And for me, the softwares that I like to use is right now Logic and FL Studio. These I'm really good at. These right now, as I'm sitting, I can say that I'm really good. You can drop me in there, I'm good. Other ones like Cubase, Pro Tools, Studio One as well, and other softwares, and Reason as well. I can try my best to do the best I can in those softwares, but I don't think I'm as good as I am with these two, right? One thing about Logic Pro that I really enjoyed, that as soon as I started using it, that I really found super impressive over FL Studio, is that it pushed me to become more of a musician in terms of being more musical with my composition, right? It encouraged me in a musicmanship way. I don't know if that's a real word, right? Let me know if that's a real word, because the workflow of FL Studio is dope and all, but I feel like you get used to the clicking and drawing every note and drawing everything, which is not a bad thing. It's really a good thing, and everything. But when I moved to Logic, I found myself touching my keyboard more, wanting to play more on my keyboard. I shared in another video, like my new workflow in Logic, me playing and using the pads and using the knobs and everything. And that's just the workflow that I'm really enjoying in Logic. In FL Studio, it's a good thing for beginners, people that don't know how to play keyboards, that don't want to, that might even not have a keyboard, people that want to draw in everything. You just want to use your mouse. If you just want to use your mouse and you want to get going, I think FL Studio is really dope. Not saying you cannot do the same here on Logic Pro. You can also do the same, but I think with the channel rack and the piano roll on FL Studio, and the videos out there that are teaching you how to use FL Studio, you can never go wrong when it comes to just the the mouse and computer workflow. And not saying that you can also not use your keyboard, you can, but I don't think that FL Studio encourages musicmanship, for you to actually play stuff as much as possible. It encourages you to to draw everything in and all that. Not that it's a bad thing, but for me, I was tired of that. I wanted to really have fun and be more hands-on with my production. And I felt like Logic was giving me that, because as soon as you open Logic, all you get is just, you just get the arrangement view. That's all you get. And what you just have to do is just start playing and then just record stuff in. And that's why it's also popular for artists that also just want to record their voices and record vocals and things like that. So you just start recording, you throw in your beat, and it's super simple, and you don't have like a gazillion windows open at the same time. Everything is streamlined nicely. I really love that, right? Whereas FL Studio, if you see here in the back, everything is a window. You open anything, you open the channel rack, that's a window. You open the playlist, that's a window. You open the mixer, that's a window. So you end up with just a screen full of windows. Again, I have to keep on saying this, not a bad thing, but you end up with a screen that's super confusing. But everything in Logic seems like it's all connected. Everything is on one screen. If I open the mixer like this right now, right, it's kind of like a window, but it feels attached, right? And if I close it, it just goes away, just like that. I think that's really cool, but it makes sure that you focus on your arrangement more. And I feel like that's something that can encourage you to finish music more, because a lot of us, we end up being stuck in the loop. So which is the kind of workflow that I was trying to run away from, because I was tired of not finishing music. And I even changed my workflow in FL Studio to start to try and work around in the playlist, and like compose my drums in the playlist so I can move around from the channel rack. As dope as the channel rack is, I wanted to move away from it because it was making me feel stuck in a way where I just keep making loops and loops and loops, and then when it comes to the next level of me finishing the music, I'm stuck. I feel like it's complete. I've completed like my mental capacity of composition in the loop, and I don't know where to go anymore. So I wanted to get off that. And as soon as I tried Logic, it encouraged me off the bat to finish songs, to want to expand, the music, expand what I'm doing to a complete song, which is a good idea. And then the next thing I want to talk about is plugins, which is something that was super amazing that I discovered in Logic. Like Logic out of the box comes with amazing plugins. And I'm talking about plugins for composition, which are synths, stock plugins, by the way, plugins for mixing. You have amazing compressors in the software. You have an amazing EQ. You have amazing plugins that you can use for mixing. You also have amazing synths that you can use to create sounds. If you've been keeping up with my videos, you've seen that I've just been using only stock Logic sounds, and they sound great. FL Studio, on the other hand, has really nice plugins out of the box, but I feel like ImageLine needs to update them a little bit more, man. I feel like they need to update them a little bit more when it comes to their plugins. Some of them look kind of outdated, but I found myself using Flex more because I feel like the sounds in Flex are really good. They're really nice. They are amazing, but I couldn't go beyond that. Everything else you kind of have to design yourself. I feel like the sounds that are in here are more targeted to like a specific style of composition, so you end up relying on buying other plugins instead of you just using what comes in the box. Unless if you're like a super amazing sound designer, then you have to design your own sound using like Citrus and using other plugins that are in here as well. But the quality of the plugins that are in Logic, they blew me away. They are amazing straight out of the box. I'm sure some of you have noticed as well, so that's something that I really love. When it came to mixing, I just have to open the mixer like this, and you get compressors that are modeled after like super popular compressors that you actually buy out there, like the 1176s. And something that I want to talk about, a question that I did get asked was like, how about the quality between both, like in terms of the output quality? For me personally, I think that the output quality of the softwares is basically the same. I know that the softwares are totally different, but I think they are the same quality wise when it comes to like sound quality that that's coming out. If you make a beat in FL Studio and you make a beat in Logic Pro, the sound quality will be the same. I think what will just be different is your ability to make music that's different, but the quality, for me personally, I think it is the same. I don't think you'll hear like a massive difference in quality. Like even if you import a file or samples in FL or import the same file in Logic, you're gonna hear the file differently. I don't think that's, that's the thing. And when it comes to FL Studio, I feel like FL Studio has the advantage of it being for Windows and for Apple as well, because you can use it on both systems if you have both, and most people do have Windows. That's why most people use FL Studio, whereas Logic is something you can only use on Apple. It's just natively Apple, which is an issue with a lot of people. It's a deal breaker, because if you don't have an Apple computer, then you won't be able to use it. And also when it comes to composing drums in Logic, it's not really drum friendly. You can compose a lot of drums, but like I said, that's not also a bad thing, because I feel like most of the music that we make in our music is not just all drums, right? It's all everything else and drums, right? So you're talking about pianos and strings and other instruments that you pile up. Yes, drums are amazing in FL Studio, and you can also do other things, but I feel like with FL Studio, most people end up being amazing at drums more than anything, and then they are not so good at composition and composing with other instruments other than drums, which is where I was falling in, you understand? So it just depends with what you want to work on. For me, I was amazing at drums by using FL Studio, so I wanted to get back to the musicmanship, get back to playing keys, to playing, to really be hands-on, to really use my keyboard. A lot of people have keyboards nowadays, right? I'm sure you do too. And a lot of people have gear, so this allows you to do that. Even if you have synthesizers as well that you want to record in, I feel like recording is super easy in Logic. You don't have to do any pre-setting up of anything. You just load up a simple track and then you just start recording into Logic, as simple as that is. Whereas in FL Studio, you have to set your audio inputs and all of that kind of thing. You have to go through a whole thing just so that you can even begin recording. That's why I even did videos about how to record in FL Studio, just to how to set that up. Ever since I moved to Logic, some people have backed away from the channel or even unsubscribed, of which they have all the right to. I'm not holding anyone hostage over here. Other people have this mentality of looking at these softwares as like, yo, I'm FL gang or I'm Logic gang or something like that, of which I don't look at it like that. I see these softwares as tools, because for me, I feel like as musicians, just like I have a mouse, just like I have a keyboard, all of these things are tools. We use them for different purposes, and what matters is just the music. That's all that matters, regardless of whether you use this or you use that, or you use this or you use this or you use this. It does not matter at all. It doesn't matter. What matters is the music that you make. That's the last thing I'm going to say about it. So regardless of what you use, all of these things are tools. Use what you can, what you have, regardless of whether it not even being these two softwares. Use what you have and just make sure you make the best music and have fun doing it. Let me know what software you use, because some of you might be using a different software that is not even these softwares that I'm bringing up right now. And I hope that some of you guys will continue to support me through my journey, because I'm also a musician. I'm just trying to share what I know and the tools that I use, which are also the softwares that I use, and it is what it is. I have a lot of videos on FL Studio and I have a lot of videos on Logic, so you can watch whichever one you want and you can see me use either or. Anyway, I'm gonna see you guys in another video. I'm X and I'm out. Peace.